So I wanted to make this video, and I wanted to make it about a Ouija board. Why did I say it's evil? I don't care what they say. When I was adopted, we were living in this house. This lady was she was an old Indian lady. She sure in the heck looked it. She had knowledge. She would tell us about. She had this friend that was able to make her furniture walk across the floor. Well, I already knew that stuff was possible because down in the basement we had a kitchen area that my dad had stripped out and turned into a workshop. And in that workshop area there's a hall, and as you go down the hall you make a right. That was the whole kitchen. But anyway, they changed it, so now out in the basement when you walk down that hall, yeah, there's a door there, and they kept the Ouija board, multiple, 2 or 3 of them in there, along with all of our toys. So the house, when you come down the steps, the basement steps, it was like down, and then you turn, you have a whole room here, big room by the way, really big room, and then you go down that way, and then you keep going straight because you had a room like a box. On this side of the door, right here on this side, was a hall, and there would be that door right there. You could go down the hall further, and you would come to the kitchen area there, which would turn into a workroom. But that was a Ouija board room. But right here in that big room that you come down and turn the steps, you go to another room, and there's another big room, plus another room, plus a fireplace with a crap load of dolls right there, man. There were dolls like you would not believe. And you would see these dolls turn their head, you'd see them look different. They'd look freaking weird, man. She had them the size of adults, she had them the size of children, she had the size of babies, she had the size of tiny creature babies, whatever. I don't know, man, this lady was filled with them. And these demons, because that Ouija board would come out, and they would hit my sister and my brother's bed, and they would keep hitting at it. And they weren't able to get me, but I was able to see them. And I would go to sleep, we all did, and sometimes they woke up always in the Ouija board room. I woke up opening the door of the Ouija board room. I woke up in the hallway of the Ouija board room. And I always woke up right before I got in there. Now, sometimes I stepped in there even still so going, what in the heck? When I realized it, oh my gosh, I'm in the hall of the Ouija board room. I'm opening the door, I'm kind of in, what the heck am I doing? You would wake up as if you were in the opposite world. It would be like when you're asleep, you'd wake up, but you felt like everything was opposite, so you turn left instead of turn right when you meant to turn right. It was literally just like that. It was literally just like that, like you'd be led by something that was opposite. Anyway, but my mom would ask that Ouija board where her dog was when it died, and that Ouija board would tell her. She'd ask it all kinds of stuff, and it would tell her. I tried to convince her that thing was bad. She'd had me do it, but the Ouija board wouldn't do nothing. She did it, that Ouija board moved. My brothers did it. I think it moved my brother and sister when they both got there. I tried, it still wouldn't move on me for nothing. You couldn't get to work around me. But I do know that that thing was evil. She knew a lady that could make her table walk across the room. And so like I said, I knew that stuff was going on and evil, and I just knew about it. My brother would listen to heavy metal. I just knew that music was evil. They had the Christians out there going, this is evil devil music, and no one would listen to them. Oh, why would you think that? Obviously, we're just in costume playing a role. They're all live. They knew it was devil music. You know, these people, they're all liars. You're actually waiting for them to tell you the truth. It's just silly. It's like a chat GPT. You think you're talking to a computer, but you might be in the beginning of the conversation, but eventually they run water through those quantum computers for chat GPT. And if you know about the spirit world and water, you'd understand that water is what the spirits are in. That's why they got to have all that water. But you don't know that because you're not spiritual, most people. They say they're spiritual because they're having a good day. I'm being spiritual right now. Don't mess it up with me. I'm having a good day. Carry on, dog. That's not being spiritual. Thank goodness Jesus didn't act that way. I'm covered by the blood. I'm covered, washed, and saved. I say a couple cuss words every now and then. I get mad. I am not perfect. This stuff about you have to be a perfect Christian out of the water. I am getting better daily with my cussing. I'm not the best. God is perfecting me daily. I am not trying to live in it. I'm not trying to go to bars. I'm not trying to live that life, but I do have problems. And my problems are open. And for my ability to cuss when I shouldn't be, it shouldn't be your ability to tolerate that it's okay, because it's not. God says no to it, okay? I'm not trying to. I just get that way and I do it. It's like when Peter would do it. I can't help it. I get so dang mad at people. The stupid, nasty stuff that you can't challenge evil is ridiculous. These people aren't, it's not about I'm a this or that. It's about good and evil, you know. It's about I'm evil or I'm not evil, or you're letting your friend's evil or your friend's not evil, your kid's evil or your kid's not evil, your daughter's evil or your daughter's not evil, your cat, your dog, your mouse, your rat, your chicken. When you don't discipline something, it goes evil naturally. It's what happens to the mind. Look at those angels in heaven. They went evil naturally because they stopped listening to God. They created bodies that God did not ordain for them. They created bodies to house themselves and that were not. The hand of God is perfect. Did they really think they were going to make a body outside of the will of God and be able to sustain their entire existence in it? Being that they were creatures of a different dimensional range even? That they would lower themselves in vibration and frequency and essence and put the essence of what they were into a body that they could create and tap into it, and it would contain them, and that God would be okay with what would be coming forth upon the earth. The creatures, even the human-like ones that look like humans on the earth, that are not humans. We've got all kinds of things going on down here right now, like the days of Noah. There are robotic people, there are android people, there are synthetic people, there are demons in bodies, there are demons that are monsters, there are real monsters in the woods, there are real monsters in the flesh, there are real monsters underneath your bed and in your closet. These things have always been known throughout all of the known time. Even Santa Claus, who he is true, but not what he really is. That's not what's real true. Santa Claus coming out and get you. You think Santa Claus is there to give you presents? You're the present. See, you are putting yourselves into systems that are all demonic. It's Jesus or it's no one. No one's coming to save you unless it's Jesus. I'm telling you, you are in a position in this life where no one, I realized that when I was born. You're in a position in life where no one's going to save you. No one's coming to your rescue but Jesus. Do you know all these cult members, they're often told lies. They're all told they're going to rule. They're all, you know, why is it in the scientific community they're teaching you that 1,000 years from now you can have an evolved body and you won't have any need for 5-digit fingers and skin like we have. We'll have a bigger head because our brains will be. They're trying to say we're going to look like aliens. That's what they're trying to say. They are not us. Those are demons. Quit it. They didn't come from the future. They came from the rebellious. They came from the rebellious fathers of the heavens that were known as angels. They are like their fathers, stuck in the same rebellion that they were born into it. They can't be saved because they're who their father is. And we have these Ouija board people telling you the stars, the mappings of the systems. I can go map a boat, but unless I'm sailing that boat ain't going with that. Just because you got a map. The problem is you guys have got captains taking your prayers and your wants and your desires anywhere but to hell and back for the answer. Unless it's Jesus Christ, no one's coming to your rescue. They live off you. They're parasites. These things are parasitic. The demonic world is parasitic. See, God explains that a branch, okay, when it gets clipped off of a tree, for instance, the branch does die. It stays looking good for a while like a flower, right? But if it dies, that branch dies off that tree eventually, okay? Because it doesn't have the right dirt. It can't keep the right nutrients in it. So anything that comes along with that branch, that eats even off that branch, will still die off that branch. Demons are on you because they're trying to live off your life because you're that part of that branch that still has life. They have none. They don't have it the way we have it. They exist in a state of death in a way. I mean, yeah. They don't have that moral quality even to begin with like the angels did. They denied it, but they're stuck in a state that's oblivious to kindness and all those other things. They don't want good things. They'll even lie to their own children to go to hell in the end of it and not even care that they did it. They don't care. They're all going to the same place, so they'll do anything they can to get away with it. You got to understand, these are the creatures that we're contacting, what we taught our children to follow instead of following God. There's no other answer. My parents, maybe they didn't realize it, but the cartoons they let me watch, they were always about snake people, snake civilizations. They were all over in the 70s and 60s. G.I. Joe is fighting with Cobra all the time. Secret societies, they were all up in those cartoons. And they're all up in the superhero world. And Sons of the Fallen Angels is what they really would be. You know, even your Superman, the truth was he'd come to conquer. If you read the new one, I heard the message clearly. In the last days, Superman was supposed to be here to conquer and take over. That's the new message right now. But I don't know. I do know that it's the days of Noah. There are people who look human that aren't. You got monsters that are humans, and you have monsters that look human that aren't human. But you have to agree with evil for it to go down in your lifestyle to a point so that you are blamed. You agree with lying by being a liar. You agree with sinning by being a sinner. All right, I guess that's what we are naturally. So what's the sin that comes from being a sinner? The Ten Commandments explains all the sins that we have, and we see that that's carried out and blessed in this world by the one who is of this world and who was to take over this world, which we know is the Satanic Kingdom. So we know that these places exist. My mother was an Indian lady, and she knew all the answers to a lot of stuff that they won't even tell you now. I'm Jewish by chance. She was Indian. My adopted mom was, I'm talking about. My real mom was Jewish descent, and my father was Irish descent. But it's funny how the devil's taught in different parts of the world. You know, some religions, they cooperate with him willingly, knowing who he is. And others, they do it in secret as secret societies. Others, you tarot card readers, they'll tell you they're connecting with spirits, but either spirits are heaven or hell, and they can't connect to the ones in heaven. There's no cities they can connect to up there. Heaven is cut off from earth. See, that's the sinful nature of man that's cut off. You're not reaching anybody in heaven through your tarot cards or anything. You're not. You're reaching what's stuck on here on earth, what's stuck in the water above, what's stuck in the water below. You see, there's a kingdom, and that's what's going on. And we got things that we can't see. Worlds, so to speak, islands in the sky, we'll say, islands on the ground even. Creatures and people and things like that you can't see. You want to know, you want to see them, go out in the woods. You'll start to see things. Stay on out there. And that's something that I'm not worried about being disproved, because I know I'm telling you the truth about that. So these things do exist, but we're all tied off in certain sections of the world where we make cities and towns that they now try to make it. You can't even leave the cities and towns to go even into the woods to venture to see anything. But if you look at all the old records, you'll point to Ouija boards and things like that. I myself had an experience as a child with these things. They are very evil. They are very childlike in a way, but ferocious. And I don't think they're childlike in the way we think they're childlike. I think you think that as a child, but you don't realize they're playing with your food. And that's what's going on. And I think they do that as you get older, but they play with their food, but on a different scale. And we see Harry Potter, that's them putting it out there, that's playing in their food. Those kingdoms like they're showing you do exist. There are things like that, that's true. I do believe that. I don't think they're delightful as you think they are. There are underworld kingdoms. There absolutely are. There are underworld cities. You're starting to find out about that stuff too, by the way you people are. There's giants, and the Bible talks about entire giants, the size of islands. If you look back into history, you'll hear all the Native Americans as well as the Jewish lore of David and Goliath. Some people now will try to say, oh, Goliath was only 8 foot tall, 6. They're full of shit. Goliath was a giant. They had brothers. Or that skull-like place where Jesus was crucified. It looks just like a demonic skull, like laying there, covered up with like a head. They got bruised by a heel of Jesus. It looks just crazy with that kind of where it goes. The Golgotha, is it? The skull. I think it's a skull. Cave of the Skull. I don't know what it really is, but and then underneath that, the Ark of the Covenant, there's a crack that goes from the cross all the way down to to the ark where it's buried. The blood of the Jesus was poured on the tabernacle of the thing there. So we got crazy stuff happening. So we got demonic stuff happening, crazy stuff happening. And these demons are the disembodied spirits of children. If you go to India, you'll see them all over the walls, all over the carvings. And you'll get some idiot on there trying to say, no, that's not a helicopter. That looks that way, but in a tank, it's not. It's really a name of somebody. It just looks that way. This guy needs to shut up and get off the air. He's a moron. Half these people that tell you that they put in charge to tell you these stories are straight out full of shit. Straight full of S-H-I-T to the T. To the ninth power of T. They're the shit line and shitty shitters the lion ever had. See, I gotta stop cussing, man. I know. Alright, let's stop that because I'm not trying to help anybody because it's not right. But they're liars. They're deceivers. They're not there to. If they wanted to tell you the truth, they wouldn't lie to you in paper and say they don't have none. There you go. An organization of liars from the beginning. What they got in those tunnels, what they got in those big giant vaults down there, boy, won't the world be stunned when they bring that up. So demons are on the earth. It's just me rambling again today about these things. I got another story I can tell you. I'm sorry, I have the hiccups. My cat don't seem to be listening to me. Anyway, I saw a cat in that house one time. It died, and I didn't know it. And I seen the cat was sitting in his usual spot on top of my warm freezer in the basement. I had a room down there, and it would sit on the warm spot, and then it jumped down. And the moment it jumped down with its feet and hit the floor, the cat just disappeared, and I ran upstairs. Mom! Mom! Fluffy jumped off the freezer, and the moment she hit the floor, she disappeared. Mom! She did. She disappeared right then and there in front of my face. Crazy. Anyway, Patrick, she said, Fluffy died. I'm like, what? No, he didn't. Then I had this other one where I was upstairs, and we had this dog named Grasshopper, and what a beautiful dog. I love that dog. Well, I went out to let him out every day, but I wanted to go upstairs to let Grasshopper out. Mom said, no, don't go up there right now. Leave him alone. Leave it alone. I went upstairs and I started playing with Grasshopper underneath the door with my finger, and I'm sitting there playing with Grasshopper, and he's big Grasshopper. I went back downstairs, not downstairs, but I went back down to the main floor from upstairs on the second floor, and I went to my mom. I said, Mom, can I let Grasshopper out? And she sat me down. She said, Son, Grasshopper died last night. That was even my Chihuahua dog. Grasshopper died last night. I was just playing with him. Crap like that, man, went on in that house. A Ouija board. Now, do I think that was Grasshopper? Man, I have no idea what goes on. No, I did not have any clue. But it felt like Grasshopper. I was sure it was Grasshopper. It was not Grasshopper. It was not Fluffy that jumped down there. I don't know what goes on with animals after people die. I have no clue. I do know that the Ouija board ain't right. It purposely, it's like it manipulates your feelings before you even get to it. It changes your perceptions of realities and understandings that you've already been taught the moment you touch it. Sort of even before you get to it, it starts working on you. So I saw these things and I started becoming frightened because I couldn't understand if God took care of everything, what was going on. Now, it took me a long time to really understand that a disembodied body. So I was sleeping downstairs one time and I got in trouble for for saying so I went outside to catch a butterfly. I think that's what it was, and I said, son of a bitch, the B word, right? Because I couldn't pick up that bee, the butterfly, and it flew off. Well, my mom was watching me try to catch that butterfly out the bathroom window. My adopted mom. I love that lady. And she brought me in the house when she heard me say, get it your butt in here, except she said the A word. So I came in. She whipped my ass over it. She whipped my butt over it. I went downstairs and I wanted something to eat. My mom was making biscuits and gravy, and sometimes they did that. They'd make biscuits and gravy and sausage and stuff for supper. Because my dad loved that stuff. So sometimes she just made a bunch. And she made other stuff, eggs and everything, pancakes. I got in trouble, so I didn't get nothing to eat. Normally, my mom would come down and bring me something anyway. Well, I thought she'd come down the steps, so I heard her covered up my head. She was coming down them steps with my sausage and biscuits finally, so I covered my head like I usually did because she's coming just like she usually does. And I went to go take my, and when she come over me, I seen her shadow come over me. I took my cover down, and there's no one there. I put my cover back up, the shadow was still there. Wow, that was a crazy one for me, man. I'm just telling you crazy things that happened, man, during my life. I got more, but I'll tell you another time. I know I ramble on, but I'm just saying don't mess with the Ouija board.